Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Northern Lights Center for Spiritual Living, a community of people dedicated to using spiritual and practical principles to create lives we want to live. And Northern Lights Center for Spiritual Living offers practical and spiritual tools to make positive changes in our lives. Our promise is to reveal, inspire, uplift, celebrate, and magnify your greatness. We acknowledge our presence here on the traditional and unceded lands and waters of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish and coastal Salish peoples. These people are still here, and we join with them in how they continue to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. We seek to resist the erasure of Indigenous histories as we work towards honoring and inviting the truth. In a similar fashion, we acknowledge how much of what we know in this country today, including its culture, economic growth and development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their ascendants who suffered the horrors of transatlantic trafficking, chattel slavery, and Jim Crow. We also name the Asian and Chicano people who toiled with little recognition. We are indebted to their labors and sacrifices, and we must acknowledge the tremors of that violence throughout the generations and resulting impacts that can still be felt and witnessed today. Please join me for our opening song, Woke Up This Morning. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on the spirit. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on the spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on the spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind, staying on the spirit. Well, I'm walking and talking with my mind, staying on the spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind, staying on the spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All day long I keep my mind staying on the spirit. Well, all day long I keep my mind staying on the spirit. All day long I keep my mind staying on the spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah.
Good morning, one and all. And welcome to a chilly little Sunday in Seattle. We're not used to that yet. And today we have a special guest performing a meditation with bowls. Annette is, she comes up here from the sunny lands of Arkansas. She well, she moved there from here. She was one of the original members of Northern Lights and also a practitioner here for many years. And so we're welcome. She's up here visiting Stephanie, who is speaking today. And she's going to do a beautiful bowl meditation for us. So please enjoy.
Can everyone hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
We can hear me. Okay. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Mary. So this morning, I am bringing forth sound bowls. And the sound bowls, to me, are beautiful healing instruments. And they just resonate within my soul. So this morning, I am here to offer up to you to take within your higher self these beautiful, beautiful resonance and sound into your heart today. So I'm going to start out with the meditation, and I want you to just gently close your eyes. And I want you to take in a deep, beautiful breath. Just take it in. And when you absolutely exhale it out, just exhale out all the rushing trying to get here. Release all the people, release all the things. Just release and just let go. And in doing that, I want you to be in this space and be in this place of relaxation. Be in this space of oneness with Source. Because you are Source. You are absolutely amazing. And by the grace of God, you are here to show up as your greatness. So as you breathe in and breathe out this morning, take a moment and just know that you are sacred and you are held by your higher self, God. Know that we're coming from the top of you and we're working our way into your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, working its way down through your communication, into your heart. And that's where Spirit will open you up today for greatness, because you are greatness. And in that space, just know that you are being held at your highest potential. And know that this area, you can always come into this area to reactivate yourself anytime, anywhere. And as you move into your sacral area, this area is for complete, beautiful creations that you are creating. You have the choice of creating. And you have to know that you're creating it in this area for the greatness of who you are. Feel this area. Know that you're it. And as you expand yourself in abundance and prosperity and sacredness, you are truly on a beautiful journey. And this journey goes into grounding and anchoring yourself as you come to your first chakra. And that chakra is going to go all the way down into Mother Earth. And Mother Earth is here to support us in every area of our lives. She is your anchor. She is the one that is united with you in Source, where we are the Trinity. We're it. And so as we anchor into the Mother Gaia, we are here to just know that we are just an amazing, amazing souls. And as we incorporate that and integrate that within our souls today, we want to make sure that we as souls just completely hold on and know and be in grace that we are being taken care of fully, wholly, and perfectly and divinely in and held in Source God. We're going to take another deep breath in. And as we exhale out, we're knowing that it is done. It is done for us this week, this month, next year. It is done. And as we breathe in wonderful prana, and that prana is breath of life, we want to just let it go into the ethers of the Holy Spirit. We're letting it go. We're letting it go. We're letting it go. And as we ground ourselves out into this beautiful, beautiful light that we are, I want to just have us to just take another deep breath and bring in and bring up your life force as we release and let go and let God. Let's take a breath in and release your breath out. As I invite you back into your body, back into this beautiful space that we're in today. And you can gradually open your eyes and know that it is all done. And you are the best thing on the planet right now. And so it is.
Thank you. And now we're going to read our declaration. Share it, read it through 3 times. And here we go. We are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. We are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. We are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. And so it is. And the reading for today. Oh, you do. Oh, that's right. I forget.
Well, good morning, all. Thanks for being here. And Opal, we got a little growl when you came in. That was it, Phyllis. So, no, Sharon has her in hand. I think that's what's going on here. So we're going to do our affirmation that I like to do. And if it serves you, allow yourself to stand. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I don't want it to be too loud for everybody.
And we're going to say this with power, and we're going to allow the words to resonate. Okay? So know these words to be truth. Last week, Reverend, was it last week you talked about truth, opinions? Yes. Yes. So this is truth. All right. Okay, here we go. God is the only power.
God is the only power.
God is the only power in my life.
God is the only power in my life.
Nothing from without.
Nothing from without.
Can touch the perfect life.
Can touch the perfect life
Of God within me.
of God within me.
No past experience.
No past experience
Has power over me.
has power over me.
So I want you to think about those experiences that you've allowed to have power over you. Okay? So these aren't just words. No past experience has power over me.
No past experience has power over me.
I am a perfect child of God,
I am a perfect child of God.
and nothing that anyone has ever done or said
And nothing that anyone has ever done or said
can interfere with my divine inheritance.
can interfere with my divine inheritance.
The power of God
The power of God
is greater than any circumstance in my life.
is greater than any circumstance in my life.
The strength of God
The strength of God
is mine to use.
is mine to use.
Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy,
Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy,
I discover that all that I need
I discover that all that I need
is within me now.
is within me now.
As I forgive the past,
As I forgive the past,
and I do forgive the past,
and I do forgive the past,
I find that I have nothing to be sorry for
I find that I have nothing to be sorry for
and nothing to run away from.
and nothing to run away from.
Casting off the old me,
Casting off the old me,
I discover my true self.
I discover my true self.
And so now with these I statements, what are we going to do? We're going to point to ourselves. Okay, I take dominion in my life.
I take dominion in my life.
Old habits have no power over me.
Old habits have no power over me.
Conditions have no power over me.
Conditions have no power over me.
Personalities 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 have no power over me.
Okay, I take dominion.
I take dominion.
I am whole.
I am whole.
I am free.
I am free.
I am complete.
I am complete.
Now and forevermore.
Now and forevermore.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Woo, yeah, okay.
Now, we move into the reading. And there's a phrase by, well, I'll tell you later. Let us take our bloated nothingness out of the path of the divine circuits. This phrase, get our bloated nothingness out of the way, is a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's one of my heroes. From his essay, Spiritual Laws. It is a call to remove the ego, self-importance, and distractions that block our true selves from being expressed. In this context, bloated nothingness refers to the unnecessary burdens of ego and divine circuits. Represents a higher spiritual path for consciousness. And here's this is a quote or a little story I found from on Quora. It's called "Life is Beautiful." I think we can all spend some time on personal growth. The truth is that we all get in our own way. In reality, we are the only ones stopping ourselves. As Byron Katie says, everything is either my business or someone else's business, or God, the universe's business. We can only control our own business. There are many ways to move forward, taking simple steps, moving in a positive direction. For example, at various times, I have gone to a therapist, attended personal growth seminars, taken classes in areas I could use improvement in, participated in such groups as AA or QA or CODA, and putting the new information to use in my life by taking action where it is needed. I like that, by taking action where it is needed. That's good. Speaking of control, I continue to incorporate personal growth into my daily routine through meditation and studying with my partner and friends. A cycle of negative thoughts can be difficult to break out of, but regular practice and getting support helps a lot. I can't give you a blueprint for moving forward, as what inspires me isn't necessarily what you will find helpful. I do know that if you take simple steps towards a positive direction in your life, you will find everything falls into place and is revealed to you as you progress. Everything is here for our good, and we only need to keep moving towards positivity. And so it is.
And so it is.
Do the shuffle.
So we're going to have our opening song. The opening song is going to be more of another meditation. So we get to have meditation part 2. It's a chant. And I'll tell you what the words are, and then I want to explain some of it. So it says, know that you are loved, even if you don't love yourself. And what I want to make clear is that I know we love ourselves, but there are times that we do things, say things, think things that aren't very loving to ourselves. And so those are the things that when she says, even if you don't love yourself, that we're considering. So I offer that you sit back, allow your eyes to close, and just allow this chant to just wash over you. Just a suggestion. You don't have to do it. You can look at it however you choose to. And Reverend Michael, whenever you're ready. Okay. Save bids on Hulu.com. Okay.
Know that you are loved, even if you don't love yourself. Know that you are loved, even if you don't love yourself. Know that you are loved, even if you don't love yourself. Know that you are loved, even if you don't love yourself. Know that you are loved, even if you don't love yourself.
Yes, how was that? So this morning, oh, I'm hearing little voices. Is it gremlins? Okay. So this morning, my talk, the title of my talk is Stop Yucking Your Yum So You Can Defy Gravity, Part 1. And if we have a Part 1, that means we're going to have a Part 2 at some point. And the Part 2 will happen in December when I speak again. So we have a little time. And I became familiar with the phrase, I guess it's people that yuck your yum. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of it. One of my coworkers introduced me to it. And I had never heard it before. I don't know. Has anybody heard that? Okay. So it's like, don't yuck. She didn't like people that yucked her yum. And basically that would be something that you love, somebody's being critical of it, is the essence of it. So what happened, I started thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, I get it when other people yuck my yum. I've yucked other people's yum. But we also yuck our own yum. And when we're talking about yucking our yum, the yum is that good in our lives, that good that is here, those things that we enjoy, but yes, also the good. And so Reverend Michael talked about getting our bloated nothingness out of the way, because sometimes we're just like right in the way of our good, blocking it. And so there was that, stop yucking your yum. The other piece of it is so you could defy gravity. I was lying in my bed, you know, because the way my process of preparing for my talks is, you know, I think about it. I read about what we get a little outline, and I decide if I like it or not. This month I did not like it. So I decided to create my own. And inspiration can come from any place. So of course it came from my coworker. And I'd gone through it and I'm going, that's a little flat. I'm not really kind of feeling it. And so, and you know how you're on your phone and you get pop-ups of different things, like YouTube will tell you, you know, stuff that you looked at. And so I got to look at the opening of the Oscars when Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo sang. And it was like, ooh, transformative. And then that whole Defying Gravity, which we'll get to hear a little later, was how they ended their segment. And so I'm like, yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to defy gravity. And what does that mean, to defy gravity? It means allowing ourselves to soar, allowing ourselves to experience our greatness, to be in our power. So we're going to take a little journey this morning. You ready to go with me on this journey so we can stop yucking our yum? So what? So we can defy gravity. Now, what are some ways that we yuck our yum? It can be ways that we get in the way of our good. We can get our, you know, our bloated nothingness in it. So one of the ways is to procrastinate. Anybody procrastinate in this room? Online? Yeah, and so when you're procrastinating, you're just delaying a task. You're delaying something. And what does that do? It just causes more stress. It causes you to yuck your yum because there's some good waiting for you, but you're like, you know, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll get it tomorrow. You know, if it's still there, okay, I'll pick it up then. Another, which I am very guilty of, is perfectionism. It has to be perfect. It has to be the perfect circumstances. It has to be the perfect time. Everything has to be perfect. And what does that do? It just stunts you, because is there ever a perfect time? Is there ever a perfect place? No. So that perfectionism leads us to miss opportunities, missing our yum. Who doesn't want some yum? Another way in which we sabotage ourselves, get all bloated in it, all up in your mix, that's not really your mix, is that negative self-talk and limiting beliefs. We talk about this a lot in this philosophy, because we know that there's the conscious mind, but we also know there's a subconscious mind. And in the subconscious mind is where things operate from. And so if there are limiting beliefs, and you know how you know if you have some limiting beliefs? Do you have anything that you wanted to have manifested that has not manifested? Anyone? Am I the only one in this room? Okay. There is something within you that is limiting you from receiving this. And it's up to you to try to go in there and excavate, to dig it out, to clean it out. Because what are you doing when you're talking negatively to yourself, or when you're operating from these limiting beliefs? You're yucking your yum. And we don't want to do that anymore. Another, fear of failure, fear of success. Ooh. I remember when I first heard the fear of success, someone told me, yeah, you have a fear of success. And I'm like, no, I don't. But I realized I did. I think fear of failure, you know, it's easy to understand. I don't want to fail, so I'm not going to do it. But what does success mean? If I am successful, what does that mean? Who am I going to be? And so what we end up doing is staying in our comfort zone. Anybody just been in your comfort zone? All comfort, cozy. You know, you in your stretch pants. Ooh, you got your, you know, that nice robe that you like to wear. You're all in your bed, all feeling all cozy. But you're not really cozy. Because there's something for you to do and you're not doing it. Self-medication or unhealthy coping is another way we yuck our yum. Now, we kind of know what that is. I mean, you know, we've heard, oh, the drugs and alcohol. Yeah, those are the ones that are easy. But you can also do it with food. You can do it with shopping. You can do it with sex. You can do it with just about anything. Because what that does is it just stops you from dealing with who you are. It stops you from feeling. So that self-medication needs to stop. Just stop it, as Bob Newhart says. Sometimes in relationships, and we're always in relationship, even if it's with ourselves, we yuck our yum. Anybody create conflict? Or have people that want to just, every time you talk to them, they're just like confronting you. It's just a confrontational conversation, if it's even a conversation. Or you just pick a fight because you don't want to deal with what's really going on. Some people will resist intimacy in relationships. So you don't give of yourself. You're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And another person can't get to know you unless you allow yourself to be vulnerable. But sometimes we do that. And so we miss out on this lovely relationship that we could have with this other person. That's yucking our yum. Some of us like to be in toxic relationships. Anybody ever been in a toxic relationship? I know I was. It was like, oh my God, I stayed in that toxic relationship for 10 years. It wasn't toxic for 10 years, but most of it. And Annette knows who I'm talking about. Anyway, some of us do that, and that yucks our yum. Another way in which we yuck our yum is by overcommitting or being disorganized. Now, overcommitting means, like, you say yes to everything. I'm going to do it all. But then what happens is you get burned out because you can't do it all. And sometimes you don't even want to do it all. You're just saying yes because you're programmed to say yes. Then there's that piece of being disorganized. That would be where I'm guilty. Don't come to my house because it's a hot mess right now. And I mean, I know where stuff is. Oh yeah, but it's not where it should be. It might be in a pile over there. Okay, I know where it is, but someone coming in might think, ooh, okay, I think I'll wait for you in the car. And so it's about yucking my yum. I know this because it's like, I don't even want to be there. So therefore, I'm missing out on my good. Another way in which we yuck our yum is avoiding challenges. Again, it's staying in that comfort zone. We don't take chances. We miss out on opportunities. Opportunities are how we grow. Challenges also are how we grow, but we just miss out. I was sharing when we went to our pottery event, how there was that song by Shabuzi, and he said, I drowned my sorrows, but they learned to swim. He also talked about love came knocking, but he just didn't answer. But the song is called Good News because he's saying, I just need a little good news. But it's like, if it comes knocking at your door and you don't answer, you really can't get the good news, which is yucking your yum. Another way we do is this denial binge cycle. And what I'm talking about there is we starve ourselves of things, and then when we get it, we binge. That's why a lot of diets don't work, because we're depriving ourselves of the stuff we really love. And then, the diet's over, but we're in that maintenance phase. I don't know if anyone's ever done a diet, but you go through that maintenance phase. And that maintenance phase is supposed to stabilize you. But you also are allowed to eat a little more, other stuff. And so you get a little bit. It's like, ooh, I'm just going to have a few nuts. Nuts happen to be my thing. I love, and that few nuts turns into maybe the whole bag of nuts. Because I've deprived myself and now I've had a little taste and it's like, yeah, we're going to keep on going. Yucking your yum. So those are some of the ways in which we yuck our yum. And I'm sure if I went around the room, other people could tell me other ways in which you've yucked your yum. But these are some of them. And in the Bob Newhart kind of way, just stop it. Because that's the solution, but I'm going to give you some more practical solutions other than just stop it. Because remember, we're talking about how to stop yucking our yum. And so what we want to do is to counter that, because we want to accept our yum. Yes? Okay. So one of the ways in which we can stop yucking our yum, and I alluded to this before, and we've heard these things before, but maybe they just haven't quite resonated for us, is do some self-reflection. Get into some self-awareness. You need to know yourself. Because some of us just kind of go through life, just humming and falling in holes and tripping and hurting ourselves, skinning our knees. And we're just like, isn't it a beautiful day? Because we're not aware that we're in pain. We're not aware what's going on within us. And so we need to spend time in self-reflection. That's why we meditate, to get away from all that outside stuff and to go inside. Annette led us through that meditation, and it was like, the power is where? Inside. It's not outside, but oftentimes we try to look outside. Another way is to connect to your purpose, connect to your why. Why are you here? Do you know? If you don't, it's time for you to start investigating why you're here and why are you doing the things that you're doing? Why do you want the things that you want? Another way is to take action and manage your time effectively. So that's when the procrastination, because I heard some folks saying that they procrastinate, and that's where this comes in, because procrastination stops you from taking action, right? Now, I found this strategy We can see if it works. The next time you want to procrastinate, and it's not mine, it's this man named Mel Robbins, and he has a 5-second rule. And what he says is, whenever you feel the urge to procrastinate or to avoid a task, count down from 5 and then take action immediately. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. You're wanting to procrastinate. You may not call it that. It's like, I don't want to do this. Or I should be doing that, but I think I'll wait till tomorrow. Count down from 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do it. Okay. We're going to replace our negative self-talk with positive affirmations. So one of the ways in which one can do that is start developing a list of empowering statements. Stuff that gets your blood moving. Stuff that just excites you. Things that resonate for you. And then read it twice a day. Read that list twice a day. Get you moving. Or read it whenever you're feeling like, I want to yuck my yum up some more. Okay? Another way in which we can elevate ourselves from yucking our yum is by reframing failure as a learning opportunity. And we've talked about this. Failures are just a way of not doing something. Does not mean you're a bad person. It does not mean that you're a failure. It just means you now know how not to do it. So reframe and turn things into opportunities. I've said this before because I remember Bernadette saying she was going to do this. Set and maintain boundaries. How's that been going, Bernadette? Yay. Sometimes you have to say no. But you need to first know what your boundaries are. Do you have any? Or do you just let people just walk all over? So we need to set boundaries. The last one that I'm going to give you, strategy for stop yucking your yum, is to practice self-compassion. Because oftentimes we will beat up on ourselves when we do stuff that's not right. We think is not right. Or we showed up in a way that was not the best. And we beat ourselves up. That's yucking your yum when you beat yourself up. Because where does your vibration go when you beat yourself up? Does it go up or does it go down? Well, I'll answer it. It goes down. Okay, so we have some strategies that we can use to stop yucking our yum. There, however, is a missing piece here. Because we stopped it, but we have to now be receptive to our good. Because sometimes our good shows up and we're just like looking over there and it's over there. It's that, like that, everyone knows the story, the man that's in the flood and the plane comes and the boat comes and all the stuff comes to save him, but it's not looking the way he wants it to look. And so therefore he's not being receptive to his good. So we need to be receptive, and that means being open and aware and awake. We can't go through this life being asleep. We need to be awake. We need to wake up. Being receptive means go from being closed to being open. So I want everyone to do this. I want you to close yourself off. Just everybody close yourself off. And then I want you to, now I see you, I can see you, Victor and Mark. I don't see anything happening. I don't see, okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we're closing ourselves off and then open yourself up. Which one felt better? Which one? The closed off or the open? The open, okay. Thank you. So we have to stop closing ourselves off from our good and be open and receptive. And when we allow ourselves to be receptive, we break that cycle of the struggle. Some of us like to be in the struggle. I know in the Black community, you know, back was in the 70s, Mark, you can correct me, you know, it's about the struggle. No, it is not about the struggle. Let's overcome that. It's about overcoming the struggle, but it's not about the struggle. So let's talk about some ways to be receptive. One of the ways is to be still and listen. We have to take time to be quiet. We have to close out all that outer noise. I know Reverend Michael talks about the committee in his head, and we all have a committee, and we have some that have voices that are louder than others. But we have to shut them down. And the only way we can shut them down is about allowing ourselves to be in the quiet, to be in the stillness, shutting out all the outside, shutting our thoughts off, and just being in the stillness. It's very lovely to just be quiet and still, because in that, you give an opening for spirit to get in. Because when you're all busy, it's hard to get in. When you're thinking you know the best way, I remember Reba saying something to the effect that you want to make God laugh, just tell God you have a plan. Because that typically does not work, because something usually ends up happening and you end up going this way when you thought you were going that way. Another way to be more receptive is to let go of expectations. Ooh. How many of us expect things to be a certain way? I know I do. I want them to be a certain way. And then when they don't turn out that way, it's, oh, woe is me. Oh, I didn't get what I wanted. And so what that does is stops us from being receptive. It puts us back in that space of what? Yucking our yum. And so when we are letting go of expectations, we let go of the struggle with the outcome. Because when we're open, which we all demonstrated with our hands out, it's like, okay, this is what these are my desires. But I know there are far more opportunities. And so I'm just going to allow that to come. Another way to be more receptive is to recognize the abundance that you already have. There is an abundance of stuff. When you look around this room, this is an abundant room. And we have in our lives all kinds of demonstrations of abundance. But yet, some of us like to hang out in the lack because we're looking at what we don't have as opposed to what we do have. And to be in that place of, yeah, this is good. Look at all that I have. Look at all the good that's happening in my life. So if there's something that you're desiring and you don't have it yet, look at all the stuff that you have desired in the past that you did get. Look at how abundant you are. And take your focus from the lack to the abundance. The next way I want to talk about how to be more receptive is to notice when you're saying no and how often you're saying no. Because some of us just say no just because that's what we do. And when you say no, oftentimes it shuts yourself off from all the yeses, all the good, all the yum. I don't know if any of you ever saw that movie, Yes Man, where he had to say, it was, what was his name? Jim Carrey, thank you. Jim Carrey, where he thought he had to say yes to everything. And so it sent him down the road of having far more opportunities than he would have had he said no. What? Okay. He was saying no. I don't know if I said that right. He had to say yes to everything. Is that what I said? Okay. Okay, good. Because I'm like, did I say no? Okay. He had to say yes to everything. And so it just opened him up to other things. The other way of being more receptive is to allow for possibilities. There are so many possibilities. We live in an infinite universe. Our minds are finite. Even if you can think of 10 ways in which you can get out of whatever situation you're in or how to create abundance, that is no comparison to the infinite. And so when one is open and receptive, one gets ideas. One gets things that just make things unlimited. Annette laughs at me, not really laughs, but we were working on a project together. Some of you are familiar, we were selling kimonos and we did these kimono shirts. And so we were sewing the shirts, which, believe you me, was no small feat. And there would be times when there was something that had to be done, but I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know how to figure it out, what it was that needed to be done. And so what I did was I just like let that go and start doing something else. And then the idea would come. And Annette would laugh because I'm sewing. I'm like, oh, I know how to do it now. Because it was just, I was in that place of being still, but I was also being receptive. And I wasn't trying to control it and sitting down and writing a list of all the ways in which we might be able to do whatever it was. I allowed myself to be open and knew that it was going to come, that the solution was going to come. So if there's anything that's going on in your life, turn it over. Who was it? I don't remember who it was, Reverend Vaughn or Reverend Michael, where we talked about, or maybe it was Reverend Pamela, turning it over to Spirit. You don't have to figure it out. Let Spirit figure it out. The next way to be open and receptive is to be in the present. We oftentimes allow ourselves to get distracted from the past or from the future. When you find yourself at either one of those places, you are not in the present. In this present moment is a gift. That's why it's called present. I know you've heard this before. So if you're thinking about, oh, what am I going to eat when I leave here? Or whatever. What am I going to watch when when this is over? You're in the future. Or, I tried to do something and it didn't work in the past. Well, that had nothing to do with right now. Be in the present. Ask yourself, what does this moment have to offer me? Another way is to be open. So we talked about the close and to be open. You want to open your heart and your mind. And that took us through that meditation. And it was, opening, because the bowls just allow for an opening. And so we need to just be open. And ask yourself, is there any place that I'm closed off? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? I guarantee that there are some places where you're closed off. And in the stillness, you can ask, where am I being closed? Where could I be more open? The next one, now I got two more, is to expand. This was really powerful for me because I've just kind of been struggling with, where am I? What is my purpose for being here? Why am I even here? When are things going to be better? Having that. I'm in a moment, I feel like it's a moment of breakthrough. And sometimes you have to just break down before you can break through. And so when one is expanding, what that allows you to do is to shift your perspective, because that's all you have to do is to shift your perspective. And we had to talk about that, your perception, and things just kind of open up. Sometimes we have trouble seeing and remembering that we are unique. We have trouble remembering how vast and infinite the universe is. Sometimes we forget how incredible life is. Has anyone done that? It's like, no, sometimes we forget. Sometimes, and what this does is it leads us to feeling smaller, to feeling less powerful, feeling less connected. And it blocks our joy, it blocks our inspiration, and it blocks all the glee that we have in life. We forget our awesomeness. And so what I want everybody to say, and that's you, Victor and Mark. Victor, I see you trying to go to sleep. He's just allowing his eyes to relax.
He's going within.
He's going within, yes, I'm meditating. I remember being in meditation with someone and they're like, yes, I'm going within. They were snoring. Okay. So they went way within. I've done that as well. So we're going to say, I am awesome. Oh, let's say that again. I am awesome.
I am awesome.
Now, I'm looking at my brothers here. We got arms crossed. And I don't know how one can be awesome with their arms crossed. Somebody tell me. Awesome. Yes. Okay. Just for me. Just, I'm sorry. I'm calling you out. I know. But I love you. I love you, love you, love you. And I want you to know you're awesome. So we're going to say it again for our brothers online. Okay. I am awesome. Yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you. And so when we're expanding, it allows us to connect our energy to that infinite power, because we're always connected, but sometimes we just forget. And what it allows us to do is to see things in a different way. It gets us away from being in that tunnel vision. Because, you know, sometimes we have blinders on and we can only see what we see. And when we take the blinders off, it allows us to see more. Michael Beckwith has a saying, and it's a little tongue twisterish, but it's so powerful that I'm like, I had to remember it. And so let's see if I remember it correctly, if I don't get myself all twisted up. So how does it go in that? Okay, look, okay, it's all gone. I will remember it in a second. Okay, here we go. I told you, see, I just had to be still for a moment. When you believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, then you don't see what you do see, and you do see what you don't see. You see how that could be a little tongue twisted? Okay, do we need to say it again? Yes. You want me to see if I remembered it again? Okay, I got you. Okay, when you believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, then you do see what you don't see, and you don't see what you do see. Okay, I wish I could take ownership of that, but no, that was Michael Beckwith. But it's about, we sometimes look with our eyes and think that this is all that there is. And we've already talked about that we're in an infinite universe, right? So there has to be more. There has to be more than what we're seeing. And so if we make our focus on that which we know is truth, Reverend Bond talked about truth last week. When we start focusing on the truth, which is oftentimes stuff we don't see, we're going to start seeing more of it and not seeing the mess that we've been seeing. So that's basically what that's saying. And what that does is allow you to expand. And then my last piece is we got to connect. We got to plug in. Because sometimes that's all we have to do. We got to get in the game. We're always connected, but sometimes we're just sitting on the sidelines. We were at Thanksgiving dinner. I was with Annette on Thanksgiving, and you know, some of us were up dancing. And one of the friends there, he's like, yeah, I don't dance. He says, I've never danced. I said, oh, so you were one of the people holding up the wall. And he's like, yeah, and people would oftentimes have to drag me out because he wanted to hold up the wall. Well, you got to get out and do the dance, honey. You got to play the game. Because in order for you to get in it and to what? Stop yucking your yum. Because what are we trying to do? Defy gravity. You got to get in the game. So what I want you to do is to plug in and receive that charge, because you can defy gravity. So we're at this part of the service where I get to give you some life work. So remember I said that part 2 was coming up. So I speak the 4th Sunday, last Sunday in December. And we're going to take this on the road. We're going to do some more with this. It's going to be more practical, more practice. So please participate. Yeah, I'll see you too. And what I want you to do is to think of one thing that you want to accomplish in 2026. You can think of more, but I just want you to have one thing that you want to accomplish. And if you're so inclined, I want you to think of and start writing down your resistance to it. Because we all have, there's some resistance, and we're gonna make this stuff come out because we got to get rid of it. Because we're not trying to yuck our yum. So everyone on board?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna do that. So thanks for playing with me today. And now we're going to have our last song, which I love. I don't know how many times I've listened to it. Maybe not quite that many, but it's definitely been quite a few. I know, I thought about you. Oh, do what? Oh, I think you better give the child. I like that child. Char will have a child.
Yeah.
I already
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Yeah. Yeah, that's, first I want to say thank you to those on YouTube, and that we'll be here again next week. I will be speaking, and we will be celebrating December birthdays, if there are any December birthdays. Otherwise, we'll just celebrate ourselves. What the heck? So thank you, and see you again. Voila, voila. Okay, another thing we have to do, oh, there it is.